What's going on, everyone? Squire here, and we have
Justin.
And what deck did you take?
Dinomorphia.
Oh, and where did you take it to?
OTS Blackpool on Saturday.
Okay, so you took it to into Blackpool at Lazy Dragon Gaming. What day was this?
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, and how did you do?
X3 after 7 rounds.
X3, so 4-3. That's pretty good. That actually, that's pretty good. So first of all, I just need to ask you. You entered Dinomorphia, right? How confident were you in the deck?
It's a deck I've been playing for a while, ever since Battle of Chaos came out, so the first wave of support. Obviously, when we got the stuff in Dimension Force and then Intact, obviously the deck really elevated, so it was really strong after all that support, and I felt like with all the time that I've had with the deck and how I've progressed with it, I felt confident in it.
Can you explain some of the card choices that you made for the event?
Outside of the Dinomorphia cards, Wannabe is really nice to maybe set a trap during the end phase. Maybe something like a Solemn or an Imperm, or any of the extra Dinomorphia cards that you may need. Deck Lockdown, which some people I know play as a side card, is really, really good going first, as it does lock out a lot of the meta from using the deck, as they like to search, and special summon from the main deck. Double Crossout is mainly just an add-on for Dinomorphia Intact to stop them from Ash Blossoming any of the fusion traps, aka Domain and Frenzy, to kind of force them to go through. And that's it, really, I guess.
So when you got there, how did you feel? What was your feelings and mental state when you arrived and you saw all these players?
Obviously, before I saw like who was there, felt confident. Obviously, I knew my deck really well, so I felt confident knowing that. Obviously, I saw like some pros and Jess Robinson, the European champion. It started to be a bit nervous in case I got any of them in any of the rounds, and let that affect my scores, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, because I saw some of the names, and some of them were like, wow, really good players, and I was surprised that some of them came all the way from, say, down south to Blackpool, which is impressive, which is interesting, and it's respectable because we know that Jess won the European Championship and got top 8 of the Worlds, so we know she's now the Sunseed Queen, even though there's no staff yet. We need that Lokai staff. Someone make it, please. So your matchups, what was your matchups, if you remember?
I had a lot of variety in the matchups I had. Like, there was only one deck out of the lot that I faced multiple times, and that was Runic Sprite Fairhire. I faced that twice. Every other deck I played once. So you had a range like Marincess, Branded, Runic Sprite Fairhire, as I've already mentioned, Rico Sun Avalon. There was a good range for me to go against, and I kind of learn in a way because some decks I've played loads of times, some decks I've played against only a couple of times, so it was good to kind of have an idea of what to play against.
So round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, what matches did you win and what matches did you lose?
Yeah, so round 1 was against Marincess, won that 2-0. He didn't really know Dinomorphia too well, so it was just a case of seeing what he put up and trying to work around it. He often made the Toad off of Bahamut Shark, which if I could maneuver my deck around, I could easily bait the Toad out. Round 2, I was up against Branded, against a guy who ended up finishing, I think it was 10th in the event, and Rexstern was massive, the big boy fusion, as a lot of the times he just couldn't out it, and the times when he did have an out to it, I had protection for it, which was really nice. Ended up winning that 2-1. And then I faced Simon He in round 3, really, really good player on Runic Sprite Fairhire. Did it open too well game 1, so it was a quick loss on that front, but then won game 2 due to having protection for Rex. Game 3 was kind of back and forth, but he did take it towards the end. That was my first loss of the tournament. Round 4 and 5 I lost. I think round 4 was against Rescue Ace. I won at least one game in that, but I got ably locked plus contained at the same time in round 3, so it was really hard for me to gain any progress since I couldn't Farizia to set any traps or link off with to stop the Iblis from affecting me too much. Round 5 was against Ricus and Avalon. Game 3 again, just one card in hand, and it was a triple tactics talent after I'd already used Dinomorphia against Gina to copy the effect of a trap in the grave to bring out Rex, and just stole my Rex, and I just couldn't win from there. At that point I thought it's probably not going to be my day, is it? Like, I'd started well, lost a couple of matches and whatnot, but faced the second of the Rune Express right for higher decks and comfortably won that 2-0. A few awkward moments. He got rid of my Rex turn by White Woman in jump scaring me. And then it was quite simple, that one. But then round 7, final round, was against D-Link, which he didn't know Dinomorphia too well, but he did have some outs to my stuff, but I eventually stole that 1-2-1.
Any was there any misplays that you thought you might have made, or did you feel like your game went all well?
I guess the first sort of misplay that was quite evident was trying to solemn judgment branded in red when branded lost was up on field. But luckily in that match it didn't really affect me too much. Went on to win it. That was like the most obvious one. I can't really remember off the top of my head. Like, there was probably misplays at the end of the day, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, as long as you remember Deck Lockdown was on the field. But you remember Dinomorphius existed, right?
Yeah, of course I did.
And obviously, Refi sent her off. I have to say that somebody asked about that, so I've got to put it on.
Yeah.
In any of the games, did you ever get to 1 life point? And if you didn't, what was the lowest life point you ever got to?
So funnily enough, I've been at 1 life point multiple times. And recently on a feature table here at Geek Retreat Blackburn. It was against... Who was it against? It was against Aaron, who was on Ricus and Avalon. Got to 1 life point. And it was it's always really funny when that happens, just to basically let you point out of pretty much every monster affair other than monsters that have 0 attack.
It was funny, that. It was funny. It was one of the matches I wanted to get on TV table for that 1 life point, and luckily we got it.
That's your only reason.
It was the best reason.
Yeah.
Any changes that you would make to any future events to the deck?
I'm not, I know myself that I'm not great when utilising the side deck, so obviously when I took to Facebook and asked my fellow Dinomorphia brethren what changes could be made to the deck, that I had literally this same deck list that we've got here. They questioned Dark Ruler in the side, because really the deck going second, you Dark Ruler, but you're also relying on maybe an Evenly at the same time, which is two of the 6 cards in hand, so you've lost a third of your hand just trying to out the board. So I'm thinking of maybe changing that for something a bit more of a board breaker. Maybe getting some Lightning Storms could help, or maybe getting Dark Holes into the side might be a nice little option to have, as I have a playset of that, so it could be something I could utilise.
And there's 2 more questions, obviously. One of them is a shout out, obviously, and the other one is, can you tell us about the team that you've joined?
Yeah, I'll start with the team I've joined. So I've joined a team called Inf Inc. TV. I met 2 of their team at Manchester MegaCon. Quite new, obviously, to streaming, and it's not just Yu-Gi-Oh! They stream. They do stuff like Dead by Daylight and Cuphead. And I'd been communicating ever since MegaCon with them, just obviously sharing Yu-Gi-Oh! Secrets, them wanting to know more about Dinomorphia, since they did have the core, but obviously didn't really understand it as well as I do. And eventually they were like, would you fancy joining the team? So I was like, yeah, sure. I'm obviously laying down the blueprints for regional season, which we're now in. And
last but not least, shout outs.
Literally everyone here at Geek Retreat. This has been my new home, my new locals. As I started my Yu-Gi-Oh! Journey up in Southport at Dyson Decks, which is now shut down, I think. But after moving back down more to my home, obviously I found Geek Retreat Blackburn, been playing here ever since pretty much the shop opened, and everyone here has really helped the progression along the way, from playing Gradle of all decks, up to now Dinomorphia, and just using that to the best of my abilities, getting advice off of all of them, whether it's the new players or the more experienced players. Everyone deserves a shout out on this front.
For those who don't know, Geek Retreat Blackburn host Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments on Wednesdays at 6:30 PM, so come down to have a go and see if you can win. Once a month, at the end of the month, we always have a title belt on the line just for a laugh. You get a picture with it if you win. So there's just another way of just having fun with it. Don't forget, if you want to check it out, Geek Retreat Blackburn, absolutely amazing plays. Thank you, Justin, for that.
No worries.
And best of luck for tonight. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.
See you soon.